beautiful soul. Welcome to Frequency of Love. I'm Mistress Anna, certified coach, holistic therapist, and founder of KinK Academy and LOV Association. And this is your space for honest conversations about who you are becoming, and everything in between. Let's begin. Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome back to Frequency of Love. Now take a deep breath with me. Inhale and exhale. Arrive here. I want to start today with a question, and I want you to answer it honestly, just to yourself. When was the last time you actually felt something? Not described a feeling in therapy or to a friend, not recognized the feeling intellectually, but felt it in your body without trying to manage it, explain it, or make it go away. For some of you, an answer comes quickly. For others, there is a kind of blankness, a not quite knowing, a sense that the question is pointing at something that feels very far away. If it is the second one, this episode is specially for you. So, we do not suppress emotions because we are weak. We suppress them because at some point, feeling them fully was not safe. Maybe you grew up in a home where emotions were too much, where crying was met with irritation, where anger was punished, where fear was dismissed, or maybe the opposite, a home so full of someone else's emotions that there was no space for yours, where you learned to make yourself small and manageable so as not to add to the chaos. Or maybe it was a relationship, a loss, an experience that was too much to feel at that time. And so the feelings were placed very carefully, very quietly in a drawer somewhere inside, with the intention of coming back to them later, and later never quite arrived. In EFT, emotional suppression is called self-interruption. The part of us that learned to stop the feeling before it rises, to tighten the chest, shift the subject, distract, rationalize, intellectualize, before the emotion can actually be felt. This is an intelligent response to an environment that could not hold the feeling. The problem is that the environment has changed and the self-interruption was not. When we suppress emotion over a long period of time, something happens that people do not expect. We do not become calmer, we become flatter. The suppression that was meant to protect us from pain also reduces access to joy, to aliveness, to the full spectrum of being human, because you cannot selectively being numb. Brené Brown, the researcher whose work on vulnerability changed millions of lives, found in her research that when we numb in the dark emotions, fear, grief, shame, anger, we simultaneously numb the light ones, gratitude, joy, belonging, love. Numbness is not the absence of feeling, it's the suppression of all of it. In CBT, we understand that emotional avoidance, the pattern of steering away from difficult feelings, maintains and often intensifies the very distress it is trying to avoid. The feeling does not dissolve when we do not feel it. It accumulates and it leaks into the body as tension or illness, into relationships as disconnection, into life as a generalized gray quality that has no single identifiable cause. In Gestalt therapy, Paul Goodman wrote about the interrupted contact, the moment where an authentic response to experience is blocked, and how the energy of that blocked response does not disappear. It stays in the system, circling, looking for completion. I want to offer you something now, not information, an experience. If you're somewhere you can close your eyes, please do. If not, just let your gaze soften. Take a breath and bring your attention into your body. Not your thoughts, your body. Start with your chest. What is there? Tightness, heaviness, emptiness, warmth. Just notice. No need to name it correctly. Just notice what is there. Now move to your stomach. What is there? Knots, hollowness, kind of quiet or pain. And your throat. Is there anything there? Something that wants to speak? Something that is held? Wherever you find, even if it's just a vague sense, even if it's nothing you can name, just acknowledge it. You do not have to do anything with it. You do not have to feel it more intensely. Just turn towards it. The way you might turn toward the person in a room who has been sitting quietly, waiting to be noticed. Now in EFT, emotional focus therapy, this turning toward is called approaching the emotion, the opposite of the self-interruption, not forcing the feeling, not manufacturing it, just creating the conditions where it is allowed to be present. And sometimes, not always, but sometimes that is enough. Just being willing to be with what is there, without managing it, without resolving it, just with it. And in Gestalt therapy, this is called present moment awareness, the radical act of being here, now, with what is actually happening in your experience rather than what you think should be happening. Every spiritual tradition that has ever dealt with the human condition has understood that the path through suffering is not around it, is through it. The Buddhist concept of dukkha, often translated as suffering, describes the particular pain of clinging and aversion. Clinging to what we want, pushing away what we do not want. And the teaching is not feel nothing, it is feel everything, without clinging and without aversion, with presence, with an open hand rather than a closed fist. And what these traditions all agree on is something that therapy is now confirming through research. The emotion we most avoid are the ones that most need our attention. Not because wallowing in them is healing, but because the feeling that is finally felt is the feeling that can finally move. The cure for the pain is in the pain. Rami said that 800 years ago. And neuroscience is now showing us exactly why he was right. If you have been living in a kind of emotional gray, if the feelings have been far away for a long time, I want you to hear this. You have not lost your capacity to feel. It has not been destroyed. It has been protected by a very wise part of you that did what it needed to do to get you through. And now, when you're ready, at your own pace, that feelings are still there waiting. Not with judgment, with patience. You do not have to feel everything at once. You do not have to open the drawer completely today. Just a small opening, just enough to let a little of what is real come into the light. And if you want support in this process, if you want a space where your feelings are welcome, where you are not alone in this, KinK Academy and LOV Association holds that space for you. I will leave the link in the notes. And now take a deep breath with me and just feel whatever is here, however small, it is enough. This is Frequency of Love and I am Mistress Anna, and I will meet you again in the next soul conversation.